Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about Red Bull's big admission on its 2025 car, as well as confusion over a penalty. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me on X at James's Pit Lane, I'll leave a link in the description, but let's jump straight into the video. So I thought I'd start today's video by talking about Lewis Hamilton, with Ferrari team boss Frederick Vasseur praising Hamilton's mindset so far in 2025. Now, it's been an up and down season for Hamilton so far. There have been positive moments. For example, Hamilton won the sprint race in China, and in Bahrain, he went from P9 to P5. So that was a good Grand Prix from him. But for most of the season, Hamilton has been behind his teammate Charles Leclerc, and after Hamilton qualified ninth at the Bahrain Grand Prix, he was a bit downbeat, describing his performance as poor and apologising to the team for not doing a good enough job. But Vasseur has praised Hamilton's mindset and likes the fact that he wants to improve, wants to get better. And speaking about it, Vasseur said, as quoted by Sky F1, "You won't replace 12 years of collaboration in 2 weeks or in 2 races. For sure, we need to improve, but this is true for everybody in the team, in the paddock, that the DNA for our sport is to try to do a better job. It's good to have Lewis with this mindset. I have to improve also myself and adapt myself to the car, and we will adapt the car to Lewis, but he had to do a step. This is done in a positive way and a very constructive way between us." But let's move on to Red Bull, with team boss Christian Horner admitting that shortcomings from the team's wind tunnel has contributed to the team's struggles so far in 2025. Now, Max Verstappen only sits 8 points behind championship leader Lando Norris, but that is not a true reflection of where that Red Bull is. It's a difficult car to drive. There are issues with it. There's no doubt about it. And the only reason Verstappen is where he is because he's pulled off some brilliant drives, like winning in Japan somehow. But then you go to Bahrain, and Red Bull's issues were really highlighted there. The balance was off, the brakes were off. Verstappen could do nothing about it. And speaking about what's going wrong with the car, Horner said, "I think the problems are understood. The problem is that the solutions with what we see within our tools compared to what we're seeing on track at the moment aren't correlating. That's what we need to get to the bottom of. Why can we not see within our tools what we're seeing on the circuit? When you end up with a disconnect like that, you have to obviously unpick it." And Horner also went on to speak about the wind tunnel. Now, Red Bull have a new wind tunnel coming in 2027, but until then, they're stuck with what they've got. And speaking about it, Horner said, "The problem that we have is that we're at the end of a set of regulations where the gains are very, very marginal. We're seeing some of the shortcomings in our current tunnel that struggles in that area." But let's move on to Sauber, with it being reported that the team are still searching for answers after Nico Hulkenberg was disqualified from the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, Hulkenberg crossed the line in 13th place, but was disqualified because his skid plank has been ground down to 8.4mm, below the minimum thickness of 9mm. Now, this happened to Lewis Hamilton earlier on in the season. In China, Hamilton finished 6th, but his skid wear was below 9mm, and as a result, he was disqualified from that Grand Prix. And speaking about Nico Hulkenberg's disqualification, Sauber veteran Beat Zender said, as quoted by Autosport, "Apparently, the skids have been measured lower than 9mm. You do FP1, you do FP2, you do FP3, you measure, you have your references. Why we're below 9mm, we really don't know. Maybe it had an impact that Nico only did a couple of laps in FP3, so one reference was missing, but it shouldn't happen, and it shall not happen anymore." Now, one of the reasons the disqualification could have happened is because of the bumpy nature of the circuit. We saw sparks flying throughout the Grand Prix, but Zender did not want to call in any excuses, with him going on to say, "You have to take it into account, whether you have a circuit where your car is bouncing a lot, and whether you run over curbs with your skid a lot. It's a mistake from our side. Obviously, there was never an intention to break the rules, because can you imagine you end up in the points and you lose them?" But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.